Our second reader this evening is a graduate of the New School MFA in Creative Writing program. Raised in Ohio, she's lived in New York City, Washington, D.C., and St. Louis, and has pursued a career as a technical writer for the U.S. government, which included writing for the Office of the President. Her work has appeared in Arch City Chronicle and Parent to Parent. She lives with her husband, 18-month-old son, and 2 cats in Uptown. You know her best as our recently departed Tuesday Funk co-host, so please join me in welcoming back Sara Ross Witt.
Thank you, Suzanne. That was wonderful. I love that idea of magic, and it kind of ties into this story. This is an excerpt from my story, Florida, which is narrated by Christine, a 16-year-old girl on a family trip to Disney World, with her older half-sisters, Anne and Cass, who are 21 or so at this point, and her older brother, Jonathan, who is going to college in the fall, and their mom, who had the idea for this trip 10 years too late. It's a desperate move on the mom's part, and thus far they've encountered issue after issue on this trip, brought on by their mother's declining mental health. Things really start to unravel when they arrive at their Disney resort, and their reservation is changed from a villa to 2 adjoining rooms. Her mom is angry and flustered. She's lashing out, causing a scene, and she strikes Chrissy, the narrator, in front of everyone in the lobby. This isn't unusual for Chrissy. Her mom is abusive, but she's embarrassed anyway. The situation explodes when, due to the overwhelming feeling of embarrassment, Chrissy loses control of her bowels and shits her pants in the lobby. So as you see, Chrissy thinks Florida fucking sucks. She also feels like she feels like she's the one who is always trying to smooth things out within the combative family. And because of this, she takes a lot of her mom's anger. She thinks it's okay since her mom also makes her feel special by claiming Chrissy is psychic. When she was younger, her mom sort of had her trained in this, but it's something they've kept secret, just between the 2 of them, until this trip. We pick up the story where Chrissy has just learned that not only do her older sisters know about the secret, but Mom claimed Cass was psychic too. Just like that, everything that made me feel special was pulled out of me. It was like taking the stuffing out of a favorite teddy bear. She did? I asked. I'm devastated. Yeah, Cass says. She would call me and ask me to tell her about her future. I did it for a while because it made me feel special. But you were already perfect, I say. Is that what she told you? Yeah, straight A students on the honor roll. She even used the word perfect to describe you guys. Both Cass and Anne laugh, and maybe they laugh harder because they're a little drunk, but their laughter sounds harsh to my ears. It's irritating a part of me that's already raw. Everything I've been told about them isn't true. Cass is the first to calm down. That's what she told us about you and Jonathan. I am on the honor roll, I say. Jonathan's on a scholarship to college. We are straight A students. I want to throw the beer bottle down, to let it break all over the concrete and smash my feet into it. I want to hurt myself for being hurt. My sisters must notice this. It's okay, they say in unison, reaching toward me as if to steady me. I see their concern, and I sit down, because there's still a part of me that can't give in to that rage. Doing so would make me like her. I shake my head. It's not okay. It never will be. Everything she said, Anne's telling me, more serious and caring than I have ever seen her be, is a lie. And if not an out-and-out lie, then just a huge exaggeration. How do you know? I ask her, but I know the answer. I put my hand up to stop them from saying anything. I suddenly feel the need to share everything crazy about Mom, because the trust I thought we had was only on my side, never hers. She tells Jonathan your father is really his father. She says your dad didn't want him, and that's why she married my dad. Anne and Cass gasp in unison, and their eyes widen. I realize I said something I shouldn't have. They ask questions on top of each other. Why? How could she? What is her problem? And does he believe her? I nod. I think he does. I think he feels like no one except her has ever loved him. But you know the truth, Cass asks. I guess, I say. I mean, he looks like Dad. My dad pays child support for both of us. He calls Jonathan his son. Shit, come on, Chrissy, he's your brother. You're my sister, I say. Cass draws back. That's different, she says. She's right. It is different. I don't know why I told them about Jonathan, and I regret it. I regret so much. I stop talking and focus on my pink drink. The sisters get quiet, then they get restless, and finally they go for a swim. While they're in the water, I walk away. I don't walk back to our villa. I don't walk into the park. I'm not sure where I'm walking. I know I won't walk far. I want to. I want to walk and keep on walking until I'm on the tip of Florida, until I'm walking through water, until no one can find me. But I'm too afraid. I end up walking in circles. That's kind of how I feel, like a moth circling the flame that is Mom, and one of these days, I'm going to get really burned. I end up sitting in the parking lot of our resort until the sun sets while I sip at the pink drink. I think this is what is meant by a strong drink, because the colors of the sky seem amped. That blue-gray has never looked more blue or gray at the same time. And I'm also paranoid about bugs. I've heard they're the size of small house pets in Florida. Oddly, I don't see any bugs or hear any birds. I wonder if Disney keeps all of that out. And then I wonder why they didn't keep us out. Despite my buzz, I feel bad about what I told Anne and Cass about Jonathan. I said it because I'm mad. For sure I'm mad at Mom, but him too, for leaving me for college. We've taken turns defending each other. Even though he was older, he was scared of the Sandman, a little creature with a burning head that would crawl up the covers of his bed and torment him at night. He tried building a wall of stuffed animals to ward them off. Then he asked me to sleep in his room to help keep out the bad guys. That's how we started sharing a room. Before that, I shared with Mom, and that was awful because she had genuine night terrors. She'd get out of bed, walk to her doorway, and scream, "Don't take me! Don't take me!" for hours, even though she was asleep the entire time. Once I tried waking her up, and when she did wake up, she was angry and mean. She yelled, "It's fine! Everything's fine!" She slapped me for getting her out of bed. I told her she walked herself to the hallway. Somehow she worked it out that I dragged her there. I was like 6 at the time. So protecting Jonathan from imaginary creatures at night was easy. We shared a room forever after that. It meant no friends sleeping over and a schedule of using the bathroom or changing clothes, but we managed. Anyway, it was 100 times less awkward than sharing a room with Mom. Jonathan did his part too. He didn't just quietly ask Mom to calm down when she was worked up. He deflected. If she was coming after me, he'd step into her way. She never called him Jonathan anymore. It was always asshole or dickhead or fucker or son of a bitch. And if she was really mad, it was all of them together. Asshole, dickhead, fucker, son of a bitch. That was his name. And he took it. I'd escape, and then eventually he'd escape, and she'd rage downstairs for another hour or two, still calling us names, sometimes breaking things. Just like when the 4 older kids visited, we each had a part to play. Only recently something happened that kind of messed up our balancing act. One day Dad was waiting to take us out to dinner and overheard her tantrum from the porch. She started yelling about the dusting I hadn't finished. I had finished it, just not when she'd ask. Meaning I'd just finished it. She wanted it done 2 hours ago, but 2 hours ago she was still at work, so I was like, what's the rush? I finished it 15 minutes before she got home, and that wasn't good enough for her. You never listen to me, she raged. You think you're too goddamn good for this world. She threw the cleaning supplies at me. I've had it with you. Jonathan walked in and deflected. We took out the trash, he said. She turned all red devil scary, hands up, fingers claws. She even pawed at the air like she wanted to scratch his eyes out as she yells, "Asshole, dickhead, son of a bitch." Dad heard that, walked in, grabbed her by her shoulders, and said her name. "You need to stop saying things to Jonathan," he ordered. Dad never talked to anyone like that. He never gave orders or raised his voice. His round little face was frowning and sad, but also angry and nervous. Our son is not an asshole. Then, all hell broke loose. Mom pushed Dad away, he let her go, and she ran to call the cops. She claimed he grabbed her and shook her and threatened her. Dad heard her saying these things on the phone, and he looked at us with this face of holy shit terror. She is really calling the cops? And I sort of shrugged like, yeah, this happens a lot. She's always calling the cops on one of us for being too mouthy with her or something. Jonathan told Dad to just leave. I couldn't tell if Jonathan was pissed when he said it or if he was scared. The balancing act he and I had established was altered. We didn't know what to do now that Dad had thrown his weight in. The cops came over, took Mom's statement, and gave us their usual naughty adolescence talk, a lot of stern, empty threats. Then he told us Dad can't come over anymore. Normally I'd just stand there listening, but Dad can't come over? You mean he can't come in, right? I said. No, he can't even drive up the driveway, the cop said. Okay, what? The police officer had just decided that my dad no longer had visitation. I was sure that wasn't right. You can't be serious, that's my dad. Young lady. He deliberately leaned close to be more intimidating as he addressed me. You need an attitude adjustment. No, I said. How many times in the last few months had the cops been to our place? 3, 4? Every time they lectured us on being nicer to our mom. Never mind that she was the one yelling, she was the one breaking things and making threats, and she was the one who was hitting. But we had to be nicer. They never helped us, and now they're taking away my dad. No, I repeated. I need a new family. I ran upstairs and bawled my eyes out. Later, Jonathan said, You shouldn't have done that, Chrissy. That guy wrote you up. They could take you to juvie. It's better than here, I said. No, he said. I wouldn't be there. When I walk back to our villa, all the lights are on and everyone is yelling. It's so loud, I'm surprised none of the other guests have called management. Mom's locked in one bedroom, holding the luggage hostage, while my sisters and Jonathan are on the other side of the door, yelling at her and at each other. What's going on, I ask. Where have you been? Anne growls at me. Gone is my sweet, caring older sister. The angry, snippy Anne from my youth has returned. I was in the parking lot out front. It's late. How are we supposed to know where you were? I don't... What is going on? What does it look like, she asked. She's gone batshit crazy, locked herself in the room, keeping all of our stuff. You're a fucking lunatic, she yells at the door. There's a crash against it. Mom's thrown something in retaliation. Cass says, We came back to go to dinner. Mom was in a mood, something about being surrounded by ungrateful people and negative energy. We tried to get her to go out, eat something, but she wanted to clear the energy. She was looking for you, Jonathan adds. Did you look outside? I was right out front. You should have come in. It was dark, Anne yells at me. She's frazzled. She's not used to Mom's crazy behavior. 5 years ago, Anne walked away from the cemetery, the voodoo curse, and she doesn't want to be a part of this now either. Anne flops on the sofa and starts crying. Cass looks alarmed and runs to join her, hug her. This is what you have to look forward to, Anne says, sobbing into Cass's shoulder, saying out loud what we all fear, one day becoming Mom. Jonathan tells us he's going to find a vending machine because we all need food. He wants to escape Anne's meltdown. Do you feel it in you too, Chrissy? She asked. I feel frightened. I feel a lot of things, and most of what I feel I put into the let's never talk about it box in my brain. There's that rage against you. I mean, how can you not? You're around her all the time. Her crazy has to rub off you eventually. Look at me. I look at her. I see myself. Someone who has lost a mother, lost an anchor, lost the person who was supposed to love us the most. Did she ever love us? When we were small enough to be cradled in her arms with dewy eyes and hands curled into fists and tiny cries of hunger and loneliness, did we pull at her emotions? Did we pull her outside of herself enough so that she could give us those extra snuggles, that little bit of love we needed? I don't know, but here we are. I don't feel rage. I feel sadness. I feel alone. I sit next to Anne. I say, her crazy has rubbed off on me. Here. I put my right hand on her cheek and my left hand on her forehead. Close your eyes. Is this psychic bullshit, she asks. Quiet, Cass tells her. Anne closes her eyes. Let the white light of love surround you, I chant. Let the white light of love surround you. I keep chanting. Cass joins me. Anne relaxes into the sofa. We're not shouting, but our chanting fills the room. It's growing out of us like a wave. We've stopped chanting by the time Jonathan comes back. Anne has fallen asleep. We can't talk. I guess I'm not sure what to say. He hands me a chocolate bar. Mom comes out of the bedroom. I had forgotten she was in there. She looks tiny and old in the harsh lights of the hotel room. She walks around the room, turning off all of the lamps. She pulls out Anne's suitcase, then Cass's. She hands me the key to the other bedroom, which she has also taken hostage. She retreats back to her room, closing and locking the door. The three of us head to the other room. Jonathan takes one bed, and Cass and I share the other. We'll leave in the morning, Cass says. Mom will want to stay, Jonathan says. Me and Anne will go. We can't stay. This is just too much. She turns to face me on the bed. I'm sorry. You could go too, I say to Jonathan. He could. He should. It's time for him to break away. No, he says. Someone should ride back with you and Mom. We're all quiet for a minute, and I think they've fallen asleep. Where did you learn that? Cass finally asks. From Mom, I say.
Thank you.